Joining us now is Bloomberg's Matt Townsend, who covers the intersection of the Trump administration and business. He's hot off his cell phone trying to gather intelligence about this meeting, which we understand did not actually take place at the White House, but has taken place already, or? It
has taken place already somewhere in D.C. So what I've heard is that Mnuchin basically reiterated some of the concerns the administration has about border adjustment, and the retailers reiterated their message that border adjustment is absolutely non-starter on any level, whether it's phased in over a number of years or anything like that. That basically it's not something that they would support.
I thought it was dead. I thought the retailers were out of the woods.
It definitely has been diminished. There's a lot of opposition in the Senate. But even today we had Mitch McConnell saying that he's all for tax reform, but as long as it's revenue neutral. And that means you have to pay for any tax cuts to sort of offset it. So the question is, how do you do that? And one of the sort of bull cases, or what supporters of border adjustment have said, is eventually D.C. is going to come around to the fact that how do you pay for tax cuts? Well, here's this thing called border adjustment. It's sort of the only solution that's been put forth, and therefore eventually the supporters of it think that's what will eventually be used to offset the tax reform.
Isn't it fascinating, though? There was so much talk every time a retailer or a manufacturer announced some jobs, and here's Ford saying it's going to cut 10% of its workforce across the globe, and nothing zip from the White House or from the administration because they're busy doing other things. I mean, if there's a border adjustment tax, it will cost retail jobs. That's pretty much a no-brainer. Am I right?
Well, that's what they say. Yeah, I mean, with all this stuff, there's a lot of spin on both sides. The sort of opponents of border adjustment say, like the retailers say, it's going to increase consumer prices. It's going to affect our business. We're going to have to slow any sort of expansion plans. And then the supporters of it say they're being sort of outrageous in their claims. They're smart business people. They can adjust to a change like this. But yes, sort of the big takeaway that the retailers are pushing is this is really going to hurt our business, hurt consumers.
You're talking to businesses, not just in the retail space, so you're obviously getting a wide plethora of views.
Yes.
I imagine some businesses are thrilled with the idea of, changes in the tax system, but maybe not the border adjustment tax. Have you heard much positivity from business leaders on it?
Yes. I mean, they're a little shy about saying we love border adjustment, but basically they say, look, Paul Ryan came up with this plan for tax reform. The main part of the key sort of metric or part of it is border adjustment, and that's the only game in town. So we're going to support that. If there was another way to pay for tax cuts, maybe they would support that. But at this point, that's what they support. And by the way, it does help companies that export.
All right.